Oh, okay. I was gonna say not like this. Thought you skilled yourself.
I almost did.
To be
Oh no!
fair, it is gonna do
Oh,
it.
nice.
About to with the air dodge at the end. Alrighty. So I think one thing that I noticed that was actually good is you barely were jumping out of the corner. I was trying to catch you with jumps out of the corner quite a bit, and it just wasn't working for me. So it's good that you're staying grounded, not being afraid. Because a lot of players, once they get up from a neutral get up, they'll typically shield and immediately jump. So the fact that you were dropping shield and just walking in is good. I definitely keep that up. The one thing that I would say it's very, I guess, obvious or prominent that you were playing a sword character before is you're trying to space a lot of back airs around me.
Yeah.
And at like the mid and low percents, I'm not going to say it's entirely useless, but as a poking tool, for what Falco is capable of, I'd rather see you not go for that. Just because off of a landing back air, whether it's a weak hit or strong hit, you're really not going to get a whole lot. Unless you're, I don't know, your tech chasing game on platforms is outrageous and you just make all the right decisions. I'd rather see you jump in with something else that's either going to give you a edge guarding situation or actually get you a combo at lower percents, right? So we'll talk about that. As far as if you're going to be jumping in with something, I'd rather see you come in with a landing nair, or you can go for a falling up air, which is going to be like a way of staggering on shield, because falling up air is incredibly safe on shield, right? It's
It's like
minus
minus
5.
five or something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So -5 for falling up air. You can use it if you happen to land a falling up air. You can get falling up air into up tilt into an IDJ combo or an active hop combo onto a platform.
Yeah.
So you can use that. Also with Nair Drag Down, you can get Nair Drag Down up tilt, Nair Drag Down down tilt, Nair Drag Down jab, Nair Drag Down grab. Basically Nair Drag Down into literally anything, right? Most of the things are going to give you a combo. However, if you get like a landing back air like this, and I'm at like, let's say 20, you can maybe get this into that. But realistically, even that, the best thing you're really going to get is like back air, side B, jump nair, or jump fair.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If you are making your way up in the ranks as Falco and you have a very clean slate combo game as far as, let's say, not that you don't know anything, but if you could be molded in any direction, I would say let's not go in that direction. I don't want to see you do a lot of this. I'd rather see you do a lot more of this, a lot more of this. Even if you were to jump in with fair like this and catch my jump, because you can get a drag down into an up tilt, into like an IDJ combo onto a platform, right? Off of a back air, yeah, it's just not a whole lot you're going to get off of this. If you are comfortable spacing back airs at kill percent, then by all means, right? If I'm at like 110 or 100 and I think it's 100 really. If you catch it with a back air like you did in the corner on the first stock over here, I'm absolutely going to die. So if you're used to doing that with like Cloud or Ike, then by all means, right?
Okay.
The only major difference, of course, besides the range, is it's not disjointed. So if you throw this out, if someone is disjointed, let's say if I'm playing Marth Lucina and I go like this from the ledge, you're going to lose that interaction basically every time. Okay? So with Cloud, yeah, you can kind of just go through most things. But with Falco,
It's like super safe.
the other thing too, I was going to say, don't be too afraid when you get, if you happen to land a hit. I know you said you don't know a ton of his confirms as far as the percent windows that you're looking for certain things. If you happen
like
to
the double up tilt into, I tried to do an up air, but then you broke out of it with Nair.
Yeah, so what you could have done there instead, there's two routes you can go. If you want to go up tilt into like a singular up tilt into Nair, then you can do that. One of his kind of weirder combo routes. I don't really do it a lot, but it does work. If you want to go up tilt Nair into a fair drag down, that does work. I'd say if you want to go up tilt, you should have at least one, or I'd say at least two lasers on me, or hit me with like a forward tilt or like a jab or something first. So I'm somewhere between 5 and 10%, right? Up tilt into like an IDJ up air onto a platform and stuff at 0 does not work. You can do it out of a up throw, but out of a up tilt at 0 doesn't work. The other route you could do is if you wanted to try and make a read on my option, you can go like up tilt, shield if you want, or up tilt, and then see if I happen to jump. If I try and jump, you can try and catch that afterwards. If I happen to air dodge, you can try and run underneath me and get another up tilt. If I come down aggressive, like I said, you could shield and go for a grab. Right, there's all kinds of stuff you can go for. As far as a combo delay that you can add in between, because I do have the option to push something, right? If I can nair, I can absolutely air dodge, because nair's frame 3 and air dodge is frame 2. Okay, so
Okay.
I would say the biggest thing between like Cloud and Falco, there's some similarities as far as trying to make those reads, because Cloud doesn't have a ton of true combos either. Like he has true combos, but he doesn't have like long-winded like 5-6 hit true combos. Right, so if you're having people air dodge out of things, you could get used to trying to play in that style, like you were saying before, trying to slow things down. One of the best ways to slow things down is let your opponent make mistakes, right? So if you go up tilt, and I air dodge like this, for example, just walk over here and up tilt me again, right? Versus jumping and trying to play faster than me. And if I air dodge now, I get down to the ground and I get a chance to reverse you. Okay.
I do now. In my entry form, that was one of the points that I knew that was one of my active weaknesses. When my opponent is playing a lot faster than I am, I have a tendency to want to try and match that speed, even though, say, Falco isn't fast enough to, or you can't press buttons with Falco fast enough so that that's actually a thing. Which actually slows him down in the end. And like, I wanna be able to get out of that headspace because let's be real, Falco's neutral is a little bit slower than, say, that of Cloud's.
Absolutely, yes.
So, and given that I've only been playing Falco for like a month or so, that's probably something I need to condition my brain into doing.
So,
do you have any advice on that?
There are some things that you can do to speed up Falco. So you can be focusing more so on his auto-canceling moves or his very fast moves. So for example, you could be using forward tilt, you could be using his back air, you could be using falling up air, you could be using rising down air, and use these moves to try and keep yourself as fast as you possibly can, right? I'll admit that if you're jumping around with fair a lot, it's very slow as far as like landing leg, right? You can't do this and immediately throw something out. However, with like a jab, or I mean a falling up air or like down air, you can absolutely throw something right away. Right? You can go like, let's say even like down air and like jump away with the back air immediately. So there are ways to play fast. The main issue with Falco is that he doesn't have fast linear speed as far as like doing this across the ground, but in a small confined space, he's very quick, right? He can get up and down quite quickly. His short hop is high enough to get away from a grab. So if I'm jumping in front of you like this and you try and grab me at a shield like that, you can absolutely come down and punish me with something pretty devastating. You don't have to full hop is what I'm trying to say. If you full hop to get away from grabs, for example, more often than not, your opponent is going to be able to move or shield before you get down. So you can utilize this once again, short hopping, getting back down to the ground, getting your double jump back, and just being able to use your dash versus your airspeed is also going to make you a lot faster, right? So short hopping more. Do you use the short hop macro or do you try and use a single button?
I just use a single button.
Okay. And do you mostly play online or offline?
Mostly offline.
Okay.
For the entire 3 years that, like 3.5 years that Ultimate's been out, I still can't get used to the online timing, especially for teching. It's atrocious.
Okay. The reason why I asked that because if you're someone who primarily plays offline, then I would say go ahead and use a single button for your double jump, or sorry, for your short hop, right?
Yep.
For me, I play basically 100% or 99% of the time online, so I just have ingrained using the macro. So I use a shoulder button and the Y button at the same time for my short hops. If you ever see me do a short hop anything, I always push the two buttons at the same time. It does work. I would say if you're used to doing it the way that you're doing it already, then just stick with that. As far as teching, and we'll get into that for the next section, I guess, just really quickly. As far as the timing for teching, I do it the same way, whether it's online or offline. But what I try and do, there's two things. If you're teching on the stage, you have to know what move you're being hit by and the trajectory that's going to send you before it hits you. So for example, if you know for a fact that Falco's forward tilt sends into a tech chase situation, you shouldn't be reacting to the fact that you're traveling through the air at a low angle. You should be reacting to the fact that you just got hit by a forward tilt and you already know that you have to tech. Okay, that will actually speed up your timing a ton, because especially online, you do have to do things in advance. So that would be number one as far as getting hit onto the stage. If you're going to get hit into the stage, let's say I'm trying to do like a back air into the wall of the stage and make you, or trying to edge guard you with that. What you'd want to do in that situation, since your percent would be much higher in most cases, you're going to want to hit your shield button as you're getting hit. So as this little white puff of smoke is coming out, that's what you're trying to tech, if that makes sense. Right, so you hit your shield button as this hits you, because if you were trying to, let's say I go like this and hit you into the wall. If you're trying to pay attention, or sorry, to react to the...
When I hit the wall is too late.
Yeah, trying to hit the wall or the trajectory or the smoke coming out or you traveling, that's miles too late, right? And I would say the difference in timing between online and offline in a situation like that, it's barely a frame. And the reason is because you're traveling so quickly. That's the only thing. If you get sent into like a low angle at like 70% from forward tilt, or if I like forward throw you at like 36%, then yes, the timing is a little bit different because the whole situation is a little bit, or a lot slower, I should say. But the offstage stuff, like if I go like this and you miss your tech, not guaranteed that you miss it off stage, because you can try to react a little bit more, or no, I mean offline, because you can try to react to it a little bit more. But for the most part, the timing is relatively the same.
So I guess to go a little bit more specific into that, like let's just say I'm familiar enough to know that I'm going to be sent into it's kind of a tech situation, but there's enough time to air dodge
Mhm.
into the stage slash and do a tech.
Yeah. Okay.
And usually in those cases, because I'm terrible at teching online, I usually just end up getting the air dodge
hmm
like 90% of the time in those situations, which means I'm pressing it a little bit too early.
hmm
Either that or like I'm just not familiar with enough with the timing to do an A landing.
Okay. So I was gonna say, even with regards to an A landing, you can kind of do like a fake A landing. What I mean by that is you can literally just buffer your nair, and it's not really a true A landing because the nair will come out a little bit, but you can at least land on your feet. And realistically, if you're going to try and tech in place or A land with a nair and have the first hitbox of nair come out, I would say you'd actually get down faster by doing the fake air land or A land. Right? I do it all the time. Sometimes if I know for a fact I have a lot of time, I'll even shoot a laser. So I'm being sent through the air. It's not really called a B land, but that's what I'd call it. Just buffering laser, right? And those are two ways to get down. I absolutely hate when I accidentally try and tech and I air dodge and then I land on the ground and I do a tech roll. That's the worst situation ever, right? So to avoid that whole thing, if I know for a fact that I will have time to A land or B land or jump or do something, I'm going to just hold A. Just try and get down. His nair is fast enough where you can get down and shield if you want to. You can come down and go for a jab immediately. If you're really getting rushed down by maybe a character that could, I don't know, they're probably not going to go for a grab, but let's say it's a cloud dash attack or someone like a sword dash attack. You could go like this, and you can shield very quickly, right? So I go for this. If they're right up on you, teching in place is not going to save you either, realistically. I would say if you're trying to, let's say, tech roll in, then that's where it starts to get very scary. Like if you're trying to land and then immediately go like this, like, of course, hypothetically, you can always paint the picture so it's going to be a bad decision. But I would say if you do have the space to get down, that's why I like to go for the laser too. So if they are going to run with a dash attack, you shoot a laser, the dash attack gets interrupted, then they throw like a forward tilt by accident, right?
It's at least better, depending on the character, I guess.
Yeah. I will say too that Falco's laser, and I know we're kind of jumping around a little bit here, but the reason why I would use laser to come down with is because it does disrupt your opponent immediately, stops all their momentum, and it can make them do a misinput. Right? The majority of the reasons why you use Falco's laser is to make your opponent have misinputs. Right? Take their jumps, turn dash grabs into standing grabs, turn dash attacks into forward tilts, just stuff like that. Damage, sure, I guess, but for the most part, I use it to try and stop people so I can get some space. And like you were saying before, you want to talk a little bit about slowing down the game. Laser is going to be a huge part of that, right? If every time someone tries to jump in, they get shot in the face, or every time they dash in, they get shot in the face, they now have to reevaluate how they're going to get in and think a little bit more versus just saying I'm going to run straight in across the ground. I would say another thing too was with regards to slowing down the game for Falco is you can play him very, very slowly, but when it's time to do your combo, you have to try and capitalize to the best of your ability, right? Because if you play the game slow, and then your opponent finally makes a mistake, and you get like up tilt nair, and that's it. It's like, okay, that playing slow, it wasn't wrong, but you're really creating an uphill battle for yourself for no reason when your combo could have been 60% instead of like 14.
Yeah, and that was another thing. Like I noticed that I guess probably because I'm not familiar enough with what to do with him yet. There are a lot of instances where I find myself having to play neutral a lot more often than I need to
Yep.
with this character. But
Okay.
we'll play the next one out and see if you have any other feedback.
Yeah, let's do it. I would say I highly recommend don't start games with your side B. It's way too committal. And the reason why too is because a lot of players will come off the platform and then jump back or dash back just to see what's going to happen. If you throw that out, it's minus 19 on hit on the ground, and minus 14 in the air. But if you do it on the ground, minus 19. Even if you happen to miss, just the end leg alone, I can probably get some sort of big punish. Oh, that's not what I wanted, but we take those. Wanted to turn around and forward tilt you, but I guess we're F smashing today. Oh, okay. Nice call out there. You want to try to avoid landing on top of me too when you're trying to get down, right? You have all the space in the world, as far as if you have to go to the side, go to a platform, go to the ledge, do something. But if you land on top of me, I'll say landing on top of Falco is not terrible. If you get up smashed, it's bad against any character. But a character that just outranges you or maybe even has tilts that can kill you, then that's when you're going to be in huge trouble, right? Like trying to land on top of like a Link or a Cloud or a Lucina.
Nice.
Good catch. I tried to nair.
So that's another confirm that Larry Lure makes look very, very easy, but
Up tilt.
I'm not sure
air.
if it's just me. Yeah, up till back here, I'm like, is it like super tight? Because I always get fair.
Offline, it feels like you have 10 years to do it. Online, bruh, I miss it all the time. So if you're like, why am I missing this off like online, then it doesn't really even matter who you are. In some cases, it just doesn't work. And then offline, it depends on how you do it. If you try to buffer your turnaround early, then you typically won't get the turnaround. You have to try and time your turnaround at the end of your up tilt to actually get the turnaround properly to get the back air.
Landing hitbox kill, okay.
I was gonna say, it just worked.